I'm Kim Scoggins, Chair of the Shaftsbury Select Board. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:34 on Monday, October 19th, 2020. Does anyone on the board have a conflict of interest with anything appearing on the agenda this evening?
No.
No conflicts of interest. Minutes, I believe we had 3 sets of minutes that were circulated.
Yes.
For 9:14, 9:21, and 10:05. Is there a motion to approve all 3 sets of minutes?
So moved. Second.
Seconded by,
I second.
thank you. Any discussion, addition, or corrections to the minutes as circulated? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed to approving the minutes as circulated? The minutes are approved 5-0-0. Next up, we have warrants. So just one, David?
Yes, there's just the one check warrant.
Okay, one. Check warrant does not appear to have a number. The amount is $50,276.61. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Tony, seconded by Ken. Major items on this include a bunch of little items from $500 down to $20 to Allied Auto Parts, $1,700 to Bennington County Sheriff, $3,600 and $2,200 to Dufresne Group. That would be some work they did on our water main replacement.
Right? Yes.
Dozen expenditures from $800 to $100 for GA Bow Fuels. $2,100 to Granite State Cover and Canvas.
Those are the tarps for the dump trucks.
Very good. I see $3,400 to Harris Schrader Enterprises.
That's fire department equipment.
$4,400 to Innovative Solutions. $1,300 to Lakes Region Fire Apparatus. More stuff for the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
$2,500 to, sorry, I'm having trouble reading that. Something Monument Company for monument cleaning. That would be headstones at the cemetery.
That's correct. That's Shay.
Shay, thank you. $1,000 to WB Mason Company.
Yeah, WB Mason, that was the chairs and the tables for elections.
Oh, okay. They're the ones with the trucks I see driving around.
Yeah, exactly.
Pistachio guy on it. Okay, I didn't know they did election stuff.
Well, they sell furniture and they sell everything. We actually get most of our stationery supplies from them now. They're a better price.
Okay. And those are the major items. Any other discussion on the one check warrant for tonight? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed to the check warrant? That motion is approved 5-0-0. That amount was $50,276.61. Any announcements?
Tim, I'd like to just take a minute and make sure that we clarify. There's been some articles in the paper, letters to the editor about voting. Do you have to bring the absentee ballot with you, and so on and so forth. My wife called the town clerk, who said that if you come in to vote and you do not bring in your absentee ballot and you have not sent it, you will be asked to sign an affidavit that you are voting there and will not be voting with the absentee. But they really wish that you would bring the absentee ballot with you if that's what you choose to do, and present it to them at that time.
Okay, thank you. And a reminder again that voting this year is at the new town garage, not at the fire station. So we have more room to spread out. And I would again remind people that we have openings on the Planning Commission and the DRB, and invite people who are interested to serve the town to let us know they'd like to be considered. Do we have any public comments? Okay, that takes us to Treasurer's Report with Melanie Dexter. Hi.
Hey, everybody.
Aye.
Melanie?
Did you get my reports? Did they? I did them pretty late.
Right now, if you'd like.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about the cash flow.
Oh, I can't do it. David has to do it.
Oh. Well, I'll take a minute and have to go to another screen.
Okay, well, I'll tell you something I did last week while you're bringing that up. I keep wanting to get a handle on whether tax collections are normal this year. And so I did an apples to apples collections through October 15th this year versus last year. And they're running almost exactly the same. I don't know whether that tells us anything, just that people who like to pay early. But as of right now, it's looking exactly like last year, for what it's worth. And when we bring up I can just read you some numbers if you're having trouble bringing it up. But oh, there we go. Okay, so you see that just in October I've processed almost $700,000 in tax bills. If you look down at the very bottom, I have the percentage of total for taxes so far this year is almost exactly 20%. Again, I don't know whether that's projectable, but it just means the money's coming in, and I'm keeping very, very busy. People are responding really well to leaving payments in my Dropbox, which I appreciate more than I can say. They're getting their receipts by including a self-addressed stamped envelope, and the system's working out great so far. Knock on wood. I know that the crunch weeks are coming up, but so far so good. Do you have any questions about anything? Mostly it's just taxes this time of year, but I know there were some other things. The highway state aid came through this past week. Not a lot going on other than taxes, but did you have any questions about any of that? Okay, so Dave, if you want to bring up the reserve account spreadsheet.
Okay.
There's something I wanted to talk about on that one because it makes me very, very, very happy.
It's coming.
Okay.
Harder when I don't have both screens going at home.
Primitive, isn't it?
There we go.
Okay. It's hard to read, but if you look down at the 280 line under garage, yeah, that line, you can see there's a deposit of 8 cents.
Excellent.
And that's the final money from the garage bond. When we did our last draw between the request and it going through, it earned 8 cents in interest. And they have been sending us statements every month for a year and a half or however long it's been, paying 55 cents a month to tell us that we have 8 cents in the bank. And I kept complaining to the woman, and she finally sent us a check for 8 cents. So that is now zeroed out, and it was much more of a headache than it should have been. And I imagine that every single one of their clients has the same thing happen, but I just couldn't stand all that postage being sent. So that's what's going on in the reserve accounts this month.
8 cents.
Yep. I still have the check on my wall because I'm very proud of it.
Next
So
meeting,
that's pretty much it for reserve accounts this month so far. Any questions about any of this stuff?
Yeah, next meeting, can we get a report back on the dollar amount of your time and the postage and the dollar amount of time that went into getting that 8 cents into the bank?
Yeah, it's horrifying. I imagine some bright young intern at the bank is going to tell them they could save thousands of dollars if they could just zero out these accounts, but it's not going to be me. Okay, so that's it for me. Any questions about anything? Just
Thank you.
keep those tax payments coming.
All right, very good, thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Okay, next up, we have the pleasure of making a planning commission appointment. Martha Cornwell raised her hand a few weeks ago. We interviewed her live at our last meeting. We met in executive session and discussed her appointment and decided that she would make a good addition to the planning commission. So at this point, I'm looking for a motion to appoint Martha Cornwell to a 3-year term on the planning commission.
So moved.
Moved by Ken,
Second.
second by Art. More discussion about Martha's appointment. All in favor of approval, say aye.
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 Any opposed to the appointment? Okay, that motion is agreed to, 500. Welcome aboard and thank you to Martha. The next item is a duplication. We appointed Ted Haberfield to the DRB at our last meeting. We didn't specify the term. We should have specified a 2-year term in that case. So we're just going to repeat ourselves. I'm looking for a motion to appoint Ted Haberfield to a 2-year term on the Development Review Board.
So move.
Moved by Art,
Second.
second by Joe. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed to the appointment? Okay, so that motion is agreed to, 500. I will point out there's been some discussion amongst the Planning Commission and DRB about how long these appointments last that we appoint mid-year, midterm, and the answer is, according to our policy, what's the policy? Not personnel policy, appointment policy?
Yeah, the appointment policy.
Appointment policy. All the terms for the DRB and the Planning Commission expire after town meeting. So that they can be reelected or reappointed, or new people can be appointed by whomever might be occupying the select board. And the reason for that is the appointment policy also specifies a calendar of events leading up to those appointments that involve public notice and that sort of thing. So all of these will expire in March of the designated year. And that takes us to item 10, Dpw report.
Okay, the report basically this week is they're getting ready for winter, getting equipment ready, finishing up some brush work, things like that. There will be no additional major projects going on as we head into winter here. It's basically prep time is what they're doing. I think the major topic of the night is the sidewalk scoping study for the Route 67 area. And I assume you would want to include White Creek from the North Macon border also.
White Creek Road sidewalk.
Well, yeah, from the railroad tracks and people have questioned about the lack of sidewalk from the railroad tracks leading down past Elm and all the way down to Bank Street, because it's just a dirt pathway. I know you were talking about the top part on 67 from where North Bennington sidewalk ends, which would just dead ended at a corner a few hundred feet up. There's the possibility, if you're scoping, to find out what the cost would be of actually making a sidewalk network that would include Elm Street, having a sidewalk running up between 67 and White Creek, connecting both ends, and then going down to Bank. That's just what I was thinking, instead of one small segment, because the only way to really get the grant is to do a scoping study first, which is what we would get the first grant on. So if we're going to scope something out, maybe we should scope out a project.
I'm sure that's prudent, but that's not what I had in mind when I brought this up. What I saw was an email that said there's a grant program through the state that will let you do sidewalks, and I thought we could extend that sidewalk there on Hawks Avenue, which turns into the White Creek. Just extend the kind of sidewalk that North Bennington has there, which is just an asphalt sidewalk. I wasn't really thinking of what we went through with the sidewalk in the village a couple of years ago, which was federal money that was applied to on a state road, and it took years, and we were doing permits for most of our adult life trying to get that done. I was thinking that, we'd apply for a grant, they'd give us $40,000, and we'd call Bodwin, and they'd lay an asphalt sidewalk for us.
No, I don't think they're going to do that. This money is all federal, and it requires, to really get something going, you have to have a project of a scope and size that is worth getting into on that level.
I did not realize this was federal money we're talking about. I thought it was a state grant.
Well, it goes through the BCRC. It's the same thing we had for the other sidewalk project.
Yeah.
So you have to start with the scoping, and it gets big, and this would be a big project. And the restrictions on work on 67, which I thought you were talking about that sidewalk that ends on 67 going up to the corner. And that's a state highway, and we'd be in the same boat we were last time. Now, if you're talking the other end down on White Creek, with that we can look into, and that we could probably plan on our own to do in maybe even in 22 or 23 at the latest, depending on how much we could work up the cost. Because if you're just talking about blacktopping along a town road right-of-way to create a sidewalk, that's a whole another issue. I don't know if anybody would give us money to do that, but it wouldn't be that expensive either in the scope of things.
How are you gonna maintain something like that though? Our equipment's way up here, but it's in the village.
Problem number two, if you build a sidewalk here, you have to clear the sidewalk. And we have nothing down there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's easy for North Bennington because they have that I think it's a New Holland or a Whacker, and they just drive around and do the whole town in one big swoop. But we would have a long drive with our little tractor to go plow down there.
Right.
Unless we could set up an agreement with them for them to plow it. It's an extension of the sidewalk that they have. It would be, a few hundred feet further along the road.
Well, that's possible too. This is kind of a different. In my reply when I got back to you and copied the board, I thought we were talking on a different item, a lot bigger.
Yeah. No, this was just a crazy idea. Wouldn't it be nice if that part of the road looked nice like it does over in North Bennington? I didn't want to get into a major project. Maybe we could have a conversation with them to see how big a deal their asphalt sidewalk was, if they just did it,
Yeah.
or if they did a scope and study and then spent 4 years permitting it like we do when we do sidewalks.
Yeah, no. Like I said, this is a whole different animal. I didn't think we were talking about this. Is that if we're talking about along White Creek there, and that's a town road, we can build on a right of way. And then we can address the other questions of how do we maintain that.
Yeah.
But we could start, I'd have to look at this from a whole different angle. So maybe we should just start over and I'll look again.
Well, like I say, I was really hoping a good portion of it would get paid for with this grant, but I didn't realize it was federal, and we know what that entails. But yeah, if you don't mind, look a little bit further. This was not an important thing, but I just thought it would be nice to have if we could get money to do it.
Yeah, people have mentioned it, especially that lower end, and even going to Bank Street, like I said. But let me look into it, because this is definitely a different topic than what I thought we were talking about.
Okay, sorry about the miscue there. Okay, I know that Ken, you've been looking at tractors. You want to tell us what you've been doing?
Yeah, I went up to Brown's in Londonderry. They had a Massey Ferguson tractor up there. It was slightly smaller than the one that Mike had found. And I ran it around the parking lot there some, and for everything I could see of it, it was do pretty much everything Mike wanted to do for about $44,000 cheaper. And I called another dealer this morning. They didn't get back to me yet. But that tractor that I drove seemed to be a good tractor. You had to put the clutch in to start it. Once you had it running, you just use the shuttle clutch. Button back, no matter what gear he was in. So, Ellsman is looking up some more items to match everything that Mike had found, but I think we ought to keep looking at that. I gave Dave the literature on it, and I hope he sent it to everybody. About 14 pages of stuff there. So I think we should keep looking before we just grab the first thing that comes along.
Well, I certainly appreciate you keeping an eye on the bottom line there, and $40,000 cheaper would be nice. Myself, I can't even think about getting a different tractor than what the road foreman tells me he wants. Than if he's here to talk about it. So I would want to hear from him before I made a decision on it. Anybody else have a comment?
Yeah, I think Mike should go take a look at the Massey Ferguson and see what he thinks, give it his own assessment, and see if it's going to meet the needs of the town. I think it's awesome that Ken found that. If it can save us a lot of money, I mean, that's what we're trying to do, right?
I try to do it like it's my money.
Right. Well, yeah.
The one thing I do remember is that Mike was real exact about the transmission, the transmission had the ability to go slow back and forth and act like a mower, and he seemed to think that the one that he picked out was one of the few that had that capability. So we need to make sure that it can do what he wants it to do.
And just a reminder, we have a substantial amount of time here. We won't even know about the grant for 2 to 3 months if we get it.
Oh,
So,
good. Then we've got a cushion then.
yeah, just keep like I told Ken, we talked about this. Just keep looking. You find some things. We found a very, very expensive one, didn't we, Ken?
I mean, that was a beautiful machine, but
For $250,000, it should have been. You know,
it ought to be, yeah.
it'd make you breakfast when you get in it.
It should, you know.
But I think for that kind of a savings, it's definitely well worth putting the time in to go make an assessment of the equipment.
Yeah, I agree. No, Ken's doing a great job. Find stuff. We'll look at stuff. We'll get the opinions of the people who know more about it. That's Mike and and Art. I'm not a heavy equipment guy. So.
All right, so let's get Mike to weigh in on that, and probably want him at the next meeting to talk about it, unless he and Ken agree. Probably should be here anyway. So, okay. Anything else on the tractor?
Nope.
All right. Dave, anything else on Public Works?
No, everything's moving along. The water is going off in the park next week, and basically the park's being wrapped up for the winter. That's really it.
Dave, are they planning on at least going around and getting some of the roads that are most traveled that are, because of all the rains lately, we're getting some pretty good sized potholes and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure they're still out doing routine maintenance like that, getting the roads ready for winter.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
All right, under other business, I see that we need to pass a motion to close Cleveland Avenue for Halloween
Yes.
from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m.
5 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Yes.
5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Yeah, we do this every year.
Yep.
Is that our policy or a public safety policy that we have to pass a resolution to do that?
Well, it's required to pass a resolution to close the road that empowers the sheriffs and other people to monitor the closing of the road.
Okay, right. Okay. So anybody want to make that motion?
So
I
moved.
make, I'd like to
Go ahead.
also say that by doing this, we are not condoning trick or treating. In fact, some CDC is saying we should not be trick or treating. But how do we do this without saying that we're in favor of trick or treating? It's kind of what bothers me.
I think we'd say, practice safety and follow state guidelines.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we are certainly not advertising it, not advocating it, but we have to recognize that it may happen no matter what we do, and we still
Safety is
make
important.
sure that anybody that shows up is safe.
Yeah.
Okay. Did somebody make a motion?
I didn't hear it.
Okay, I will.
We have a motion from Art to close Cleveland Avenue on Halloween, October 31st, 2020, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Second.
Second by Tony. Other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed to closing Cleveland Avenue on Halloween? Okay, the motion carries 5-0-0. All right. Any more public comments at the end of the meeting? We're about to wrap it up. Okay. Action items. David is going to look some more at the scale down sidewalk idea, see if that's feasible. And Mike is going to give his input on the tractor that Ken found that is cheaper. Anything else that we promised to do? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Tony, seconded by Art. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed to adjourning? All right, we stand adjourned.
Good.